Milestone for arts and culture in Joplin as the Harry M. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex celebrates its first anniversary. KOAM News at 10 is next. Now at 10, it's a big day in Joplin as the Harry M. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex celebrates its first anniversary. Plus, a Joplin business seeks to expand and asks the Joplin City Council for a tax break. And a local organization that helps abused and trafficked children gets a financial boost for renovations.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Joplin City Council tonight approves a proposal that could help bring a lot of new jobs to the city. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. The council granted a request from Azer Technologies for an abatement of property taxes on its East 26th Street facility as the business looks to expand. Azer bought the building from ZAF Energy Systems a few years ago. Now they want to add on to the building, a plan expected to create 350 jobs within 6 years. As they work on that expansion, they wanted a tax break from the city.
Expanding our manufacturing facility in the Crossroads Industrial Park. That expansion is really around getting ready for a lot of aerospace and defense work, but specifically for batteries for military vehicles such as submarines, aircraft, and ground vehicles like the Abrams tank.
Council tonight also approved a contract with Olson Studio to complete work on the Ewart Splash Park project. In November of last year, the Cornell complex opened its doors in Joplin. Today, they celebrated their first anniversary with a ribbon-cutting ceremony. KOAM's Elise Noe has that story.
This November marks 1 year since the official opening of the Harry M. Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex. Now that a full year of performance and visual arts opportunities at the complex has passed, the public was invited to a ribbon-cutting ceremony at the complex with the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce.
So we just wanted to welcome everyone back again to celebrate this huge milestone and just to remind people that there's tons going on at the Cornell complex all the time.
Connect to Culture, one of the primary resident organizations in the complex, has put on 39 performances and school shows since the complex has been open.
We've had over 2,500 students be able to take part in our performances via those school show opportunities for free. And it's just very inspiring because a lot of those kids have never been in a performance hall.
While the complex is celebrating the 1-year anniversary, it's also a time to celebrate all the work and planning it took to create a central space for performance and visual arts in Joplin.
I think that this vision was a long time coming. It was, way back in 2007 was the first discussions of there needing to be a destination for the arts in Joplin. And so just being able to see, that vision become reality has been an amazing experience.
And the complex has provided entertainment to more than 28,000 guests and has hosted more than 400 events.
We're looking forward to just continuing growing. Everyone's so proud of what we've put on so far. And just the possibilities are endless.
1 year down and many more to go. In Joplin, Elise Noe, KOAM News.
This holiday season, Connect to Culture will host a number of holiday performances, including the Nutcracker with Midwest Regional Ballet. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a warm and windy day for us today. Temperatures again, we've been climbing steadily upward through the weekend into today. 78 was our high. Average high 62, so you got to go back to 1 week ago. You remember we had a 5-day stretch where we were only in the 40s for highs. Now we're back into the 70s. Record high, really not that far from an 81 on this date. Still the southerly winds kicking in. They have calmed down over the past few hours, but these are going to crank up again as we get into Tuesday. We do have some clouds kind of skirting through, nothing underneath the clouds. We can't rule out a random sprinkle or two later on tonight, but in general, it's a pretty calm night. So if we look through the night, slide back near 60. We start the day with sunshine. Again, tomorrow it's going to be warm. It's going to be windy. We do have some changes by midweek. We'll look at that here in just a bit.
See you soon. Authorities responded to reports of a woman falling off the Bluff Trail in Wildcat Glades in Joplin this afternoon. They had to use a boat to get to her and get her to an ambulance. Responders believe the woman fell 30 to 40 feet near the area known as Mother Nature's Crack. Authorities say the victim was injured but responsive. Investigators now say alcohol might have been involved in the deaths of two men struck by a train in Jasper County yesterday. Happened on the railroad bridge near Highway 171 and Pennell Street in Carl Junction. That was around 2:20 yesterday afternoon. Authorities have identified the victims as 24-year-old Dakota Bittner of Webb City and 39-year-old Terry Long of Oronogo. Investigators say Bittner's truck had struck a concrete block near the base of the railroad bridge. A witness said the two men were on the bridge, and despite the sounding of the train horn, they were struck by the train. Authorities say evidence at the scene indicated that alcohol might have been a factor in the incident, but they did not elaborate. Authorities in Jasper County have arrested 3 people and recovered more than $90,000 worth of stolen property. Authorities say 48-year-old Kenneth Pippin, 36-year-old Christopher Gordon, and 62-year-old Terry Ward worked together to steal $92,000 worth of equipment, including a pickup truck, a flatbed trailer, 3 lawnmowers, landscaping tools. Most of the equipment was recovered on September 11th. That's also when Pippin was arrested. Gordon and Ward have since been arrested during a follow-up investigation. All 3 are being charged with felony stealing. Kansas Governor Laura Kelly announces increased support for survivors of domestic violence. Kansas is receiving $1.6 million in federal grants to help prevent family, domestic, and dating violence, to support victims, and to increase non-custodial parents' time with their children safely. Hope Unlimited in Allen County receives a total of more than $60,000, and Safe House Crisis Center in Crawford County will receive more than $90,000. The Arvest Foundation is assisting a local group's campaign to expand its services. The Joplin chapter of Rafa House International is $25,000 closer to its goals thanks to a donation from the Arvest Foundation. Although Rafa is known for international work, building a headquarters in Joplin will help make trauma counseling more accessible.
The quality trauma counseling services are really lacking in our region. We have a lot of kids that need these services in our community and throughout Southwest Missouri. And what we're hoping to do is to pilot a really healthy model that can be reproduced in other areas.
Rafa House says renovations are planned to be finished by next spring. Coming up, there were some great area football games last week, but only one worthy of performance of the week. Brock's going to tell us who won the honor in sports. Plus, the former president testifies.
Former President Donald Trump takes the stand in the civil fraud trial against him and his company. I'm Naomi Ruckham with his defiant testimony.
50% off only at Casey's.
In his New York civil trial, former President Donald Trump went on the offensive, taking on the judge and the state attorney general from the witness stand. At one point, the judge even threatened to remove Trump from the stand due to the outbursts. Naomi Ruckham reports from outside the courthouse in Lower Manhattan.
See what a scam this is?
Inside the courtroom, former President Donald Trump lashed out, calling the judge in the high-stakes fraud trial against him and his company biased. During his combative testimony, Trump also threw barbs at State Attorney General Letitia James, calling her a political hack.
He rambled, he hurled insults. The documentary evidence demonstrated that, in fact, he falsely inflated his assets to basically enrich himself and his family.
In the civil trial, Trump testified that he's worth billions of dollars more than the financial statements at the center of the suit, accusing him of inflating his wealth to banks and others to secure financing and deals.
This is a case that should have never been brought. It's a case that should be dismissed immediately. The fraud was on behalf of the court. The court was the fraudster in this case. They made references to assets that were very valuable.
In an earlier ruling, State Judge Arthur Ngorin determined that the former president committed fraud while building his real estate empire.
The normal person cannot inflate value of properties in order to get a benefit.
In 33 years, I have never had a witness testify better. An absolutely brilliant performance by President Trump.
But amid the clashes, Trump did acknowledge that he has a hand in his property's evaluations, saying, quote, "I would look at them, I would see them, and I would maybe on occasion have some suggestions." Asked by the state attorney whether he ever thought the values were off or inaccurate, Trump said, yes, on occasion, both high and low. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, New York.
The judge will determine how much Trump will have to pay in penalties in the case. The state is expected to call the former president's daughter, Ivanka Trump, to the stand on Wednesday for what's likely to be hours of testimony. Doug is next with the forecast, and a little bit later, big news for soccer fans in the 4 states as Pitt State names its first ever women's soccer team coach. Brock is going to have more for us in sports.
Johnson, Voorhees, and this holiday season. And remember, thanks from Ron's.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a very mild and very windy day for us today. Temperatures, they warmed into the upper 70s for highs, actually near record highs. We look great outside right now. Nice shot. This is the Cornell Arts and Entertainment Complex on top of the Cornell building, looking off toward the northeast, downtown Joplin. All right, look at our temps warming up. So lower 70s yesterday. We only dropped back into lower 60s, and then today into the upper 70s. And I think most of us will push 80 or right at 80 by the time we head into the daytime hours for us tomorrow, and then also on Wednesday. All right, let's go outside. Southerly winds have calmed down quite a bit compared to what we had earlier today, so they're not near as strong, but still it's a little bit on the breezy side, and these winds will pick up once again as we get into Tuesday afternoon, especially in our southern counties. Gusts 20 upwards to 30. Now, as we get into Tuesday night and Wednesday, look at this, gusts 25, 30, maybe 35 miles per hour. So it's going to be windy, but it also stays mild over the next few days. For you tonight, 65 by 11, 62 by 7. Overnight low about 59, back to 69 by 10 a.m. We do have some clouds kind of skirting through. Can't rule out a random sprinkle late tonight, especially in our northern counties. But besides that, not a whole bunch going on here. This is our next storm system, our next waves. It's not very organized, but we are seeing a couple little waves. You can follow the arrows that kind of drape across the northern parts of the plains. It doesn't have a lot of moisture, but it will change our weather up a little bit by the time we get into the middle of the work week as this wave kind of rotates out. As it does so, rain mainly to our south, but we do cool down behind that storm system. Now, if we look all the way into the weekend, there's no big storm systems heading in our direction. I don't think it's until about the middle to latter half of next week we start to get a bigger storm system into our neck of the woods. Now, until that happens, we actually overall get pretty decent weather. Tonight near 60, we'll start with some clouds. We'll warm mid-70s by noon. I think most of us will top out near 80, 78, 79, 80 degrees across the board. So it's going to be a pretty good day. It's going to be windy again. Tomorrow night, southerly winds keep our temperatures up. We only drop back low to mid-60s during the overnight hours. Now, Wednesday, watch this. Here comes a front barreling in during the afternoon. So here's 4 p.m. Behind it, we'll have some clouds and a few random showers. I think ahead of this front, we should push 80, maybe 81. And then our temperatures will drop a little bit as we head into the evening as the front drops through. Rain kind of picks up maybe in our southern counties by Thursday morning, but I think really most of us stay dry as that system pushes through. It's just really going to cool us back down. All right, 64 in the morning, 72 by 11, 80 by 3 p.m. We'll drop back to 71 tomorrow evening. Official high of 80, 81 on Wednesday. High of only 58 Thursday, so quite a bit cooler, a few morning showers. 60 on Friday. Looks pretty good into the weekend. Sunny skies, high temps into the middle 60s, and we hold into the 60s all the way through a good chunk of next week.
Doug, thanks. The Sam's Club in Joplin is making a donation to benefit children battling serious illnesses. The store donated nearly $61,000 to Freeman Hospital for the Children's Miracle Network. It's part of an annual fundraising campaign Sam's Club does for the network. Officials say it'll help area kids get the medical care they need.
We just start with a month of doing different things. Our banner program's the biggest part of it. but we reach out and see what equipment they may need or put a goal for the associates. Inter battles between Sam's clubs, we like to beat everybody in the nation, but at the same time, we know everything stays local, and that's what drives us.
The Joplin Sam's Club has been doing the fundraising campaign for 35 years. It's raised a total of $460,000 for the Children's Miracle Network. Still ahead, the Webb City boys soccer team competes for a district title, and the Kansas Jayhawks open their season at home. Highlights from the game and more next in sports.
Affordable Resort, your premier resort destination.
The Pittsburgh State Gorillas are coming off their first MIAA loss in over 2 seasons. Pitt State is still alive to play in the NCAA Division II playoffs, but Saturday's 1-point loss to Missouri Western certainly did not help.
Sometimes, the chips fall how they do, but, we beat ourselves in a couple areas where, we had some penalties, some late calls that, obviously don't go our way, but, regardless of the fact, we have to be better in our execution and just in our preparation. Today we didn't rise to the occasion, and that unfortunately we fell a little short.
We got to do a better job. We got to have more discipline than that, especially in a tight football game that way. And I think disappointed in how we played certainly, and got to be better.
So after that 31-30 loss over the weekend, here's what the Pittsburgh State Gorillas currently, or at least how they currently stack up in the latest Division II regional rankings. If the season ended today, the Gorillas would be the number 3 seed in Super Region 3, so the 3 seed would play the 6 seed, meaning Pittsburgh State would host Osheta Baptist in round 1 of the playoffs. Of course, this could all change between now and Saturday. We'll have an official college football Divisional II bracket this Sunday when the final results are in. Well, Monday marks the final weekly press conference for the Missouri Southern Lions football team. Missouri Southern is coming off of a loss to Emporia State last Saturday. Now the Lions look to finish the season strong on Senior Day.
We knew we were getting a good football team. It was their Senior Day. They got a lot of guys that have been here, been there since COVID, and they just kind of brought the fight to us, and just a little bit overwhelming. But we're not discouraged. We're not down. We're not, oh, woe is me. We don't feel sorry for ourselves. We're excited about the next opportunity.
The big thing will be coming out hot, starting the game, trying to match what they do and show that we're here to compete. We're here to put our best game forward, and that we're ready to win a football game.
Well, it was only 3 months ago that the Pittsburgh State Athletic Department notified everyone that they're going to get a new women's soccer team, and now the Gorillas have named their first head coach in program history. Wes Brandstetter is the first women's soccer head coach in program history for the Pittsburgh State Gorillas. So here's what we know of him thus far. Brandstetter was an assistant coach at Oral Roberts for the past 9 seasons. Last year he led Oral Roberts to an 8-7-4 record as an assistant coach. He also coached 16 all-conference performers and 16 newcomers and freshmen. Brandstetter comes from Sapulpa, Oklahoma, and is a graduate of the University of Tulsa. Well, today marks day number 1 of the Division I men's college basketball season. The Kansas Jayhawks and the K-State Wildcats are both opening their seasons tonight. Well, the Kansas Jayhawks are facing the North Carolina Central Eagles. Jayhawks up 40 points with 2 minutes to go in the half. New transfer Hunter Dickinson with a nice pass over to the Nicholas Timberlake. Jayhawks up 42 points. Under a minute left in the half. Look at DeJuan Harris go over to Dickinson. Just give it to your 7-footer right there. Dickinson lays it in, so Kansas now up 41 points at halftime. In second half now, KJ Adams gets the nice post up and the 2-hand jam. Jayhawks are 1-0. Kansas wins it 99-56. Also, the Kansas State Wildcats open their season tonight against the USC Trojans in Las Vegas. This game had a late tip out there in Sin City. K-State currently trails USC 40-30 at halftime. Well, the Webb City Cardinals boys soccer team is the number 1 seed in the Missouri Class 3 district tournament. The Cardinals are looking to bring home a district title. Webb City is playing at a neutral site in Branson tonight against the Central Bulldogs of Springfield. Webb City was up 1-0 at halftime, but Springfield Central comes all the way back in the second half to score 2 goals. And with that, Springfield Central will move on to play Springfield Catholic in the state quarterfinals. Webb City ends their season with a 12-9 overall record. Speaking of Webb City, that brings up our performance of the week, which is the Webb City Cardinals football team. Webb City scored 71 points against the Belton Pirates last Friday night. The Cards scored on their first 2 plays from scrimmage. Webb City will now shift their focus to the Carthage Tigers. These two teams met earlier in the season. It was Carthage that beat Webb City 20-13, so should be a fun rematch between those two schools.
Yeah, it always is fun when those two teams play each other, and a lot on the line now.
Yeah, it's going to be good for a rivalry game, especially when a district title's on the line.
You bet. We'll be right back.
If you've been injured in an hero.
Hey, KOAM's very last flag swap of the year is coming up tomorrow. If you have a tattered American flag, you want to exchange it for a new one free of charge, just look for us across the street from the Walmart in Parsons, Kansas from noon until 1:30 tomorrow. And be warned that on some of these events, we have run out of flags before the hour and a half. So if you want to be sure to get a new flag, then get there as early as you can. Old flags will be properly retired by the Boy Scout Troops of America on Veterans Day. Now here's Doug with a final look at your forecast.
Well, it's going to stay mild tonight, and the winds are going to pick back up once again for us tomorrow. So it's going to be breezy / windy Tuesday and Wednesday. But look at our high temps, 80 and 81. Cold front rolls in late Wednesday, so on Thursday, we don't warm up as much. Could get a random shower. High temp of only 58, back to 60 by Friday.
Thanks, Doug. And a final sports note.
The LA Chargers beat the New York Jets on Monday Night Football, so at least the Chargers win. Chiefs still win, so they at least keep their lead in the AFC West.
Yeah, about 2.5 games, I think, right now. Our photographer, Ty Park, shot some drone video of the leaves changing colors, and we want to share that with you as we leave you tonight. Thanks for joining us, and let's make it a great tomorrow.
Live closed captioning on KOAM News